There's a tension that shows up in almost every major life decision. Freedom or security? Do you take the stable path, the predictable one, the path that gives you a clear sense of what comes next? Or do you take the path with a little more uncertainty, more responsibility, and possibly even more upside? But there's one thing for sure. It has a lot less comfort. It shows up in business, it shows up in relationships, it shows up in money, it shows up in the way we think about our future. A lot of people say they want freedom, but when they get close to the decisions that freedom requires, they realize something uncomfortable. Freedom is not the absence of pressure. Freedom usually means you are choosing a different kind of pressure. Security gives you structure. It gives you predictability. It gives you a sense that as long as you follow the path, things should probably work out. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes people even romanticize risk too much. They act like choosing freedom automatically makes you brave, and choosing security means you've settled. And I don't think that's true. There are seasons in life where security is the wise choice. There are seasons where stability gives you the foundation to grow, build, recover, learn, or protect the people who depend on you. But there's a cost to choosing security without being completely honest about it. Because sometimes what we call security is actually fear. The fear of being judged, the fear of being wrong, the fear of starting over, and the fear of finding out that that thing we said we actually wanted requires more from us than we actually expected. That's where this decision gets difficult, because the question is not simply, do I want freedom or security? The better question is, what cost am I willing to carry? If you choose security, you may be carrying the cost of wondering what could have happened if you had taken the chance. If you choose freedom, you may carry the cost of uncertainty, inconsistency, and having fewer people understand what you're doing while you're doing it. Neither path is free. Security has a price and freedom has a price. The mistake is pretending one path comes without sacrifice. In my own life and in the work I do with businesses, I've noticed that the real issue is rarely the people don't know what they want. Most people have some sense of it. The issue is that they haven't fully accepted what their choice is going to require from them. Sometimes we want the upside of freedom with the comfort of security. We want growth without exposure. We want independence without responsibility. We want change without disruption. And I get it, but life usually doesn't work that cleanly. If you want freedom, you have to have the capacity to handle uncertainty. You have to become the kind of person who can make decisions without perfect information. You have to learn how to trust your judgment, recover from mistakes, and keep moving when the path is not clearly marked. Sometimes it's even extremely lonely. But security requires something too. It requires discipline, it requires patience. It requires the humility to build within structure, even when parts of you wants more control. A stable path can be a strong path. The danger is when you choose security, but tell yourself you are choosing peace, when really you are avoiding growth. Or when you choose freedom, but tell yourself you are being bold, when really you are avoiding discipline. That's why self-honesty matters so much. Not every safe choice is fear, and not every risky choice is courage. Sometimes staying is courageous, and sometimes leaving is avoidance. Sometimes taking the job is wise, and sometimes building the thing is necessary. The difference usually comes down to whether your choice is aligned with the life you actually want to build. Not the life other people admire, and definitely not the life that looks good online. It's about the life that you actually want to live. And I think this is where a lot of people get stuck. They try to make a life decision using someone else's scoreboard. They compare their path to people who have different responsibilities, different risk tolerance, different support systems, and different definitions of success. But freedom and security are personal. For one person, freedom might mean entrepreneurship. For someone else, freedom might mean a stable job that gives them time with their family. For one person, security might mean a salary. For someone else, security might mean owning their time, even if their income is less predictable. So before you choose a path, you have to define the terms for yourself. What does freedom actually mean to you? Is it time? Is it money? Is it creative control? Is it location? Is it not having to answer to someone else? Is it even just something as simple as being able to say no? And what does security actually mean to you? Is it income? Is it routine? Is it health? Is it family stability? Is it emotional peace? Is it knowing you can survive a hard season? Once you define those things clearly, the decision becomes more honest. Not necessarily easier, but clearer. Because then you stop asking, which path is better? And you start asking, which path is more aligned with who I am becoming? That's a much better question. Because the path you choose does not give you outcomes. It shapes you. A secure path can shape you into someone disciplined, grounded, and dependable. Or it can shape you into someone who avoids risk and slowly loses touch with their own ambition. A freedom path can shape you into someone resilient, creative, and self-directed. Or it can shape you into someone scattered, reactive, and allergic to structure. The path matters, but the person you become on that path matters more. So maybe the answer is not choosing freedom over security. Maybe the answer is understanding which one you need in this season and which one you are using as an excuse. Because there are times where you need to protect the foundation, and there are times when you need to stop hiding inside it. This is the uncomfortable part. No one can really answer it for you. People can give advice, they can share their experience, they can warn you of things, and they can even encourage you. But eventually you have to sit with the decision yourself. And you have to be honest enough to ask the question, am I choosing this because it is right? Or am I choosing it because it's familiar? Am I avoiding risk or am I avoiding responsibility? Am I building a foundation or just building a cage? That's the kind of clarity that changes the decision, because the goal is not to chase freedom recklessly, and it's not to cling to security forever. The goal is to build a life where your choices are conscious, where you understand the trade-offs, where you are not sleepwalking in someone else's version of success, where you can look at the path you're on and say, this is costing me something, but I know why I'm paying the price. And maybe that's the real definition of freedom. Not a life without pressure, not a life without risk, not a life where everything is easy, but a life where the trade-offs are yours. A life where sacrifices are intentional. A life where you are not just protected from failure, but actually pointed towards something meaningful. So when you're choosing between freedom and security, don't just ask which one feels safer. Ask which one is more honest. Ask which one your future self is more likely to respect. Because the right path is not always the easiest path, but it should be one you can stand behind.